Hello, guys and girls. This is Joe with Agumon for Smash Bros. And today I have an opinion. And if it's one thing that you can do that is more dangerous than anything else when it comes to expressing yourself on the internet, it's expressing an opinion. Now, while I like to think that a good portion of the Digimon community is above a lot of that nonsense of witch hunting people who might have abrasive opinions about certain subjects, I'm fairly certain that it's like any other fan community, and you will be burned at the stake if you don't follow the status quo. So, that being stated, I don't know for certain if my opinion that I'm about to express is something that people are necessarily split down the middle on or not. So, it's kind of difficult. As far as I'm concerned, my personal experience with people, particularly certain YouTubers and different Digimon groups, is that everybody prefers Ophanimon over uh, Magnadramon or Holydramon, depending on what language you're looking at it here. I'm going to refer to her as Magnadramon for just the sake of convenience in the video, because most of the people watching this obviously are going to be Western fans, so generally, a lot of people seem to prefer Ophanimon. And while I have my own opinions on Ophanimon, I'm going to keep those out of this video for particular reasons, mainly because it has nothing to do with the point I'm trying to make. Instead, what I'm going to address is the reason why they didn't choose Ophanimon to be Adventure Tailmon's final form, and why I'm happy they didn't, and why it really does make sense when you think about it. And a lot of people are going to just automatically jump down my throat just for saying that. So if you feel like you need to do that, pause this video, chew my butt out in the comments, then listen to the rest of it, and you'll understand where I'm coming from, hopefully. If not, you can continue chewing my butt out in the comments. So that being said, let's jump right in. The only the only thing that people have to go on when it comes to Hurricane Touchdown, the Digimon animated film, I think that's the third one. Yeah, that's the third one. Hurricane Touchdown not being canon is basically preferential opinion, really. People look at it and go, well, it makes no sense why this happens this way, so it can't be canon. It's nonsensical. It's not canon. Now, a lot of people are coming at this from the god awful American version of it, in which they cut, like, I want to say 15 minutes of footage. They might have even cut more. It might have been like 20 minutes of footage. But just to stay safe, I'll say around 15 minutes of footage, somewhere in that range. A lot of people don't realize 15 minutes of footage in a short animated film like that is just a whole lot of story that got cut out. That being stated, I don't think it necessarily explains why the things happen, but I'm going to give you guys my theory on it. Basically, my headcanon on why things happen the way they did in some kind of chronological manner that hopefully makes sense. But at the end of the day, what I will be doing by explaining this is, if anything, proving that Digimon's rules are inconsistent. So, at the end of the first season, Apakarimon destroyed the Chosen Children, or the Digidestins, tags and crests. Now there was this whole moment like, now we can't evolve. And then they all started to kind of like fall apart and become nothingness, but then they all reformed just by sheer force of will. All of their, I guess, binding attributes, courage and friendship and purity, I'm going on the Japanese ones here, love and things like that, they all came together to allow them to basically bring themselves back from nothingness, which is insanely powerful if you guys think about it. They were able to undelete themselves, then come back and are able to, amongst unbelievable odds, still evolve their Digimon just by their own sheer force of will. As it was explained, we can do this without the crest. We don't need them. They're able to evolve their Digimon to their final forms at that moment and take out a Pakarimon. Then they're able to contain his like death explosion attack that would have destroyed everything had they not done it. Then you skip to the Our War Game movie. They're on the internet and they're able to evolve to their final forms no problem. Then by the time the second season come around, they can no longer evolve. Now, a lot of that, there's ways fans have justified this. They can say because the kids lost their way, because now they're older, blah, blah, blah. There's all sorts of silly ways that fans have justified it, and everybody's headcanon is exclusive to them. And my headcanon was that I get the only way I could explain it is that the digital world reset, and a lot of people explain this. The digital world reset at the end of the first season, and then because they were on the internet in Our War Game, they were able to just evolve willy-nilly, no problem, because it's a different place with different rules. Then when they go back to the digital world, somehow they're all unable to evolve anymore. That just kind of shows the inconsistency. That's me putting forth the theory to explain why it's so inconsistent, but it all ties in together. So you skip to Hurricane Touchdown, which is probably one of the most hotly debated Digimon films as far as what's canon, what's not. I don't understand how the other films could be canon and that one's not, just because some nonsensical, silly stuff happens in it. It doesn't make sense, but we don't know what the plans were for that movie when they were developing it. There's a good chance that they were animating that film around the same time that they were developing the story for the second season. So they might not have known where they were going with things. So that's why some things don't make sense. But I think the only way I could explain that it makes sense that they're able to, that Tailmon and Patamon are able to evolve to their final forms is really simple. When Cherubimon, whom I got to emphasize, guys, Cherubimon is just another like angelic Digimon. Its name just means angel in general. So when Cherubimon is warping time, he's sending the kids back to whatever time in their lives. He's got the original children trapped. All sorts of crazy stuff is happening. He's able to just change the very fabric of reality. So we don't know what kind of forces are coming into play. We don't know what the Digimon were before they come and become partners with the chosen children. The way the show explains it is that they were those Digimon were coded specifically for those kids, but Digimon are constantly reincarnating. For all we know, Tailmon and Patamon in a past life could have been great holy Digimon that resided over the digital world as like protectors. You don't know that because when he starts messing with time, somehow they both seem to understand, well, holy crap, we can evolve to our final forms. So a lot of people go, well, yeah, that's great. They've evolved to their final forms, which happens to be Holydramon / Magnadramon and Seraphimon. Why don't they just fight Cherubimon? Maybe they knew that they only had a limited amount of power that they could use to evolve to that stage. Maybe it was just kind of one of those things where they've got like a short amount of time they could be at that point. They know that time is kind of warping in and of itself. It's changing and slowing down and going backwards and all this other stuff. So they know they have a very short amount of time. They also know that they're able to, when they reach this form, they can summon the golden digimentals. Now, a lot of people are going to be like, yeah, but still, they could have still fought. They did kind of fight a little bit, but they knew that from a logical standpoint, they only have so much time to be transformed into that form and use it to summon those digimentals so that the other guys can reach their final forms. Golden armor forms, my bad. So that's my headcanon, that they knew they could evolve because of whatever happened in that moment. And it ended up working out. They ended up doing the right thing. They didn't stay evolved for very long, and they were able to summon it. Now, could I be wrong? I think there's a good chance I could. It could just have been something they wanted to animate. Maybe they wanted to show people the final forms of Tailmon and Patamon in a movie. Maybe they just wanted to animate a cool dragon spinning around an angel. You don't know. No one really knows. It's hard to say what was going on in their heads. I'd love to get an interview with them. But anyway, that was always my headcanon why they did that. And the thing is, you see in this new poster for Digimon Adventure, try the 4th episode that's coming out soon, there is no emphasis on Seraphimon. Now, we've seen little hints that Seraphimon's going to show up in here. Why wouldn't they emphasize Seraphimon? They know for a fact that there is this huge fan following, especially in the West, for the Angel Digimon. Fans just love the Angel Digimon. Why wouldn't they put that right out there on the frickin' poster where everyone could see it if it's not just something that's already happened? They've already evolved, thus sort of making Hurricane Touchdown canon. Now, like I said, a lot of fans, they don't understand it. It doesn't make sense to them. Why did that happen the way it did? Well, that's the only way I can think to explain it. I'm sure the animators and the people who worked on it could tell us a little bit better, but that's just where I'm coming from. It was probably just really a residual effect of a story mechanic that they never followed through with in the actual anime. You guys have to consider that before our war game, Omegamon didn't exist. So new things and different things happen in those movies that don't necessarily happen in the show. And it's just how things are. And there's never been a moment where they've really emphasized what Adventure Tailmon's final form is. People might say, well, the Adventure video game gives us her final form. It's Ophanimon, which is whatever. People need to realize that there were other video games in which Gomamon evolved into Placiomon. There's other games where Gomamon evolved into Marine Angemon. So you can't take the video games as canon. People go, well, what about Vikemon? Vikemon's an example of retroactive continuity. Blah, blah, blah. Well, we didn't know what was in the adventure canon, what was going to be Gomamon's final form, guys. We didn't know until that happened. And I'm almost certain, even though Vikemon's always presented as an evolved form for Shakuamon, I think when they were designing Vikemon, the whole idea was for him to be the evolved form of Zudomon. And then later on, Clavis Angemon shows up, and there you go. You have the evolved form for Shakuamon. So it all makes sense in the end, guys. I think a lot of Digimon sit around without final forms. I mean, hell, it took forever for Ogremon to get something. It took, you got like High Andromon, which didn't happen until much later on after Andromon was created. And I could just go on. There's lists and lists and lists of Digimon who finally get their final form. Rust Tyrannomon, there's a good example. I mean, it's just how it is. Now, some people are sitting there going, but I like Ophanimon. That's fine, because I like Magnadramon. You can like Ophanimon, but it doesn't make her canon. But I think Ophanimon's cooler. That's fine. I think Magnadramon's cooler. The reason for this and why I think that it kind of is a big deal, and I'm going to have some pictures featured in this video. I'll have them pop up in this general area if they're not already popped up, that explain the point I'm getting at. Guys, you have to understand that there is a flow to the design in Digimon, especially when it comes to the first season and even the second season. But more so from that original cast. These were all Digimon that were taken from like the first 4 or 5 generations of V-Pets. You have Agumon, who can evolve into Greymon, and then finally into War Greymon. You got Gabumon, who can evolve into Garurumon, and then Metal Garurumon, and the list goes on. And what happens with that is that every Digimon kind of has a theme to what they are. War Greymon becomes a dinosaur dragon warrior. You know, that's essentially what War Greymon is. You've got Metal Garurumon, who is a robotic wolf. You've got Vikemon, which is a mammalian Viking creature with cool-looking maces on his back. Gosh, he's such a cool-looking Digimon. I really am biased toward Vikemon. I love his design. I love his tusks. he's just a walrus of death. You've got Hercules Kabuterimon, or Heracles Kabuterimon, who looks great. He's a golden giant beetle. And then you've got Rosemon, which is kind of a dominatrix plant lady. And then you have Seraphimon, who is an armored angel. And then you throw Ophanimon in there. Well, what's Ophanimon? It's another armored angel. Oh, I forgot Ho'omon or Phoenixmon, who's a big, beautiful Chinese bird. And if you throw in Ophanimon in there, it just kind of breaks up that nice little flow of difference. You have all these different creatures coming together, and really that's what makes Digimon great, guys. Is you've got stuff for furries, you've got stuff for people who love dragons like me, you've got stuff for people who like robots, you've got stuff for people who like angels and humanoid warriors and all that crap. It's people who like giant bugs. It's a little bit of something for everyone. But if you have just two straight up angels in armor standing there in this group of creatures that are of a wide variety, it looks silly. And I think they recognize that. And I think they also, to a certain extent, are respecting the vision that the writers and animators that worked on Hurricane Touchdown had. Now, you can take away from that what you will, but if you throw a big cat, lion, dragon thing in that mix, it's something different. I know Wargreymmon's kind of like a dragon, but he's about as much of a dragon as I am. I mean, he's more of just like kind of a beast-like human warrior. You throw this big, pink, fluffy, serpentine dragon with all these cool angel wings and these really neat horns, who can shoot like heavenly beams out of her mouth. It just completely flips everything on its head. I mean, there's been just as many video game hints that Tailmon was going to evolve into Magnadramon as there have been video game hints that she was going to evolve into Ophanimon. I get it, you like Ophanimon, but some of us don't. Some of us don't. Some of us prefer Magnadramon. Does that mean that you're stupid for liking Ophanimon? Does it mean I'm stupid for liking Magnadramon? No. But you got to respect the fact that the canon has been established for a while, and no amount of like uppity fans arguing on the internet about it is going to change it. And at a moment's notice, it can change again. They could decide that they don't like it maybe in the future and make Ophanimon her final form. But as it stands now, that is Tailmon's final evolution. And think what you will of it, guys. I mean, it really is one of those things where I'm noticing there's a lot of hate because of it. I'm sorry that Ophanimon, a Digimon who had quite a bit of exposure, really, if you consider all the times she's appeared in video games and even in like Frontier and such. And then she had a huge moment in the Digimon Adventure video game for the PSP, in which she kind of finally got her revenge on Vamdemon. She gets plenty of exposure. Really, Magnadramon, who, has been playable in a couple fighting games and has appeared in just as many video games, she kind of been put on the back burner because she doesn't fit this fan ideology that Tailmon should evolve into a great angel. And even though Tailmon could evolve into an Ophanimon, Holydramon or Magnadramon could very well evolve into Goddramon / Goldramon, depending on where you live. People don't realize that is one of Patamon's final forms. He's got multiple. A lot of Digimon have multiple final forms. Dogs are barking in the background. Not much I can do about that. But that's just how it is, guys. It is what it is. We got what we got. I mean, back when Tamers first come out, and I saw Magnadramon, I'm like, man, I hope that's Gilmon's final form. And it ended up not being. We ended up getting another humanoid warrior. And some people love it. Some people don't. I'm one of the people who would have rather had Magnadramon, but that's how it goes, guys. Sometimes you're disappointed. I remember all the fans losing their mind when Shakuamon showed up. There were people like going, "Oh my God, Angemon is gonna fuse with Ankylomon. We're gonna get like a big armored angel. It's gonna be cool," and it ended up being a big teapot. It was beautiful. It really was kind of nice to see the Angel fans get trolled because, quite frankly, the Angels get plenty of moments in the sun. They get plenty of Deus Ex Machina moments. They're treated like royalty, really. And at the end of the day, Magnadramon is still technically an angel. It's a holy dragon. I mean, it has the angel wings. It just doesn't look the same. But that's just where I'm coming from, guys. I mean, I've presented my headcanon. Take with it, or take of it what you will. It is what it is. You could have your own headcanon. If you do, tell me about it in the comments. If you've got what you think is a much better reason why Ophanimon would be better for adventure, tell me about it. I'm willing to listen to other people's opinions. I'm just stating mine. And I hope that I'm not being too rude about it. And I hope people don't get too angry at me for not going with the grain, because it seems like the common opinion is that Ophanimon should have been it, but it's just not how it is. I think that there's a lot of really cool things that Magnadramon could do that Ophanimon really couldn't. Ophanimon kind of has a restrictive design, has that straight, like, I don't know, what's it, like pencil skirt or whatever you want to call it, where the skirt like keeps her from doing a lot with her legs. So she's just kind of limited to her arms and that, sword, and she has like that lance thing, and really she's just kind of limited in what she can do versus all the crazy things that a dragon shaped creature could do, especially one that's serpentine like that. And we've never seen a main character in Digimon maintain some kind of large, like, very animalistic dragon as their final Digimon's form. I mean, everybody kind of gets very humanoid dragons when they do get dragons. And you think about some of my favorite Digimon designs of all time, like Shine Greymon, he still, at the end of the day, is very humanoid. So to see something like this is kind of refreshing. And there's just all sorts of crazy stuff she could do because she is serpentine. She could constrict enemies, she can fly, and she can bite and rend with her claws. There's just a lot more than she can do than just straight up fight with laser beams and swords like Ophanimon could. I could be wrong. You guys can tell me how Ophanimon would be better. I'd love to hear it. Let me know in the comments. Tell me. Give me a thumbs up if you like this, guys. If you didn't like it, give me a thumbs down. If you disagree with me, let me know why. I'm open to other opinions. But this has been Joe, and as always, guys, thanks a million for watching. Thank you for keeping the group alive, and hopefully we can talk about some Smash Brothers stuff here in the future. I don't do many videos where I talk about Digimon stuff just because I try to keep this as a general Smash Brothers and Nintendo group, and then there's a lot of people out there who do really good Digimon content. I just don't think I can compete with that. Not that, this is a contest. It's just, why should I create anything when there's amazing YouTube content creators out there who do a way better job than me? But anyway, guys, have a good one, and I'll see you in the next one.